Good evening, everybody. My name is David Harris. I'm the pastor here at Connect. Thank you so much for coming and participating in this evening. We are so excited to be sharing with you and to be working alongside the city school system and sharing events like this. Most of you probably are not familiar with Connect Church. That's because nobody around Mesa is. We're a new church, and we're just getting into our facility. We're still under construction. This room's still under construction, but we're getting by. So it's our privilege to host this. One of the things that is our goal is to be a part of the community and not just a church. You understand what I'm saying? We want to partner with the school system, whatever organization you're a part of. The average American church closes its doors tomorrow, absolutely nobody knows. We want to be a member of the community that contributes to the overall good of the community. A few years ago, I was in the Sacramento area working at a church there, and we brought the artist community together and addressed the issue of sexual slavery and human trafficking. Sacramento was the #1 city for human trafficking in the United States at the time. We dropped that clear down to 9th on the list after about the next 18 months. And so when a community comes together and functions as a community and serves as a community and lives as a community, we can do amazing things for the good of the community. Don't you want to be a part of a community like that? Absolutely. So we're really, really glad you're here. A couple of things I want to make you aware. We have some special guests hanging out with us tonight. You've met some of them sitting along the back, but we, from the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention, we have Corey Frolander. Would you say thank you and welcome to Corey for being here with us? Kyle Morris is with us from the Children's System of Care with Mercy Care. Would you say welcome to Kyle tonight? Maddie Rose from Not My Kid. Would you say thank you for Maddie for being here tonight? And then one of our primary presenters is Melissa Valenzuela, a suicide awareness trainer from the Mesa Public School System. Would you thank her for being here tonight? You get to meet her a little bit more later. We're really, really glad you're here. One of the things that I'm really aware of, because we want to be a resource for the community and not just a church, as I said, is I'm really aware that some of you sitting out in this room probably are not people of faith. I want you to know that my hope is that you feel as comfortable walking through these doors as I do. And we absolutely respect that about you. The other side of the coin is I am a person of faith, and with your permission, I would like to ask God to bless us and help us here this evening as we would go and try and make a change when we walk out of this place in the days ahead. And so God, we weep tonight with those who are weeping. Many of whom are weeping from internal pain that we have no external visibility. We weep for the families of those who have lost a friend or a loved one. We weep for any who might be here this evening, Lord, and are considering suicide somewhere in the recent past. You see, God, there's an epidemic going on in our culture. It's an epidemic that knows no racial prejudice. It has no personal bias. It doesn't matter the gender. It doesn't matter the socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter whatever racial background and ethnicity one may come from. It's an ugly epidemic, God. It's suicide. So our goal and our hope here this evening is that you would speak to our presenters and to our resource folks and begin to teach us as a community, as we say here at Connect, for the 85205, that we would begin to make a dent that becomes a curve that becomes an eventual elimination, at least in this corner of the world. God, we thank you for the people who helped make tonight possible. We are grateful to you for all of your goodness, and we pray that you would speak through our people, that we might come together in this community as one body, one group, one race, the human race, and battle this thing together. We thank you for your goodness, and we pray this in your name. Amen. Juan Sandoval, come and talk to us for just a moment about what's going on.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, my name is Juan Sandoval. I'm one of the members here at Connect Church. So on behalf of Connect Church, I want to welcome you all here this evening. So we're going to talk about, obviously, suicide is going to be the main topic of tonight. But before we get into that, there's everybody handed out and received an information card. Everybody get one? If you didn't, yeah, it kind of looks like this. If you didn't, raise your hand and we'll get one out to you. Just kind of, if you want more information about the topics that are listed on here, please check it off and then drop it off in one of the baskets on the way out. But again, what we're talking about this evening is going to be suicide. So, what is suicide? It's the taking of one's life. It's it's just a horrible, horrible situation to be in. Sorry, I get a little emotional. We learn about suicide, you hear about suicide, but for me, when suicide happens to another family, happens to the people down the street. But in January 2015, suicide came knocking on our door. With my nephew, we learned at 10 years old, my 6-year-old nephew. And it's a horrible, horrible feeling, horrible experience to go through. From that time on, I kind of made it, my wife and I, our mission to say, we want to make a change. I don't want my nephew's legacy, maybe it's a little selfish, but I don't want my nephew's legacy to be that he took his life. I want my nephew's legacy to be that because he made that harsh, horrible decision, tough decision, he opened my eyes, he opened our eyes, so that we can make an impact on someone else's life. So that other family doesn't have to go through that experience, the heartbreak that we have gone through. And it never goes away, unfortunately. It's easier, but it doesn't go away. To this day, we still struggle with what I call the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Had I known, I would have done something different. I could have done something different. I should have done something different. We deal with that. We still deal with that. Again, it gets easier, but it's still there. So that's the whole point, is what my wife and I came together and worked with our church to put an event like this together, to create that awareness out in our community, so that again, another family, another uncle, another brother, sister, another parent doesn't have to go through that situation that we're in. So with that being said, I want to bring up our first speaker, Anna, will come up, and she's going to share her personal story as to how suicide impacted her life as well.
Hi, my name is Annabella Defensa. I want to thank the church, my family and friends, and everybody else for the opportunity for us to share our stories. It's not easy standing in front of an audience and sharing. Some of us have always struggled, but this is a great opportunity to help someone. So let's talk. It was January of my senior year at Red Mountain High School. I was so excited because I was going to graduate. My brother is Jesus Defensa III. Most of us called him Chito. I gave him that name when we were kids. Chito was a sophomore at Red Mountain, 16 years old, tall and funny. My brother was taller than most people. He would stand around short people, rest his arm on their heads, and ask them how the weather was down there. My brother loved volleyball more than any other sport. He was on the team at Red Mountain. He was a great son, brother, cousin, and nephew. He was a great friend and loved spending time with his friends. Waterboarding, he was someone you can count on. He cared for his family and friends. I miss him and everything he did. That smile of his would light up your day. On January 15th, my brother decided to end his life. His decision broke me, our family, and our friends. I was the last person to be with him, the last person that heard his voice, the last I love you came from me. I'll never forget January 15th. I stood there calling the police. I was just a kid myself. I was shaking, afraid, alone, and angry. Suicide ends someone's feeling of loneliness, fear, and maybe anger, but it stops the life of those that are left behind. My family's life stopped when my brother took his. My sister quit her job. My mom didn't work for months. None of us will ever be the same. But I decided to go back to school. Our life has to even go on even though he made the decision to end his. Do I think about him every day? Yes. Do I wish he was at home playing video games, eating popcorn, and waiting up for me? Yes. Wish I could just have one more hug, one more opportunity to give him, and have him, one more opportunity to bug him and have him scream my name for me to leave him alone? Yes. But the truth is, I can't. Instead, I have decided to help others. I have been able to help other people reconsider life instead of suicide. Knowing that I can help others live is a great feeling. We should all do what we can to help others see that there are other options to this depression, to anger, and to loneliness. Helping others is a way to help ourselves. As someone that has been left behind, I ask that you do something positive. We need to spread happiness. Thank you again for the opportunity to share my story.
As Juan said, when suicide comes knocking on your own door, it affects the whole family. And would you say thank you to Anna again for doing that? Very brave, very courageous. So we appreciate her courage. We appreciate her helping us. It's my privilege to introduce Melissa Valenzuela to you this evening. She's 27 years as a professional educator, and she has been facilitating suicide awareness training for the past 2 years. I've had a chance to get acquainted with her a little bit this evening. I'm hopeful this is not my final chance to get acquainted with her, but for future opportunities that we would share together. Would you give a great big welcome to Melissa this evening?
I'm going to be a rebel because I'm not going to stand on the stage. I'm going to walk around. Okay? Wow. Pretty powerful. Suicide Talk is part of an organization called Living Works. And I had the great opportunity to, through Mesa Public Schools, to be trained as a Living Works trainer. There are several different levels of training that you can have. And so this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is called Suicide Talk. It is a training for just pure awareness. Like I said, there are different levels of training, and I would love to come back and do every one with you. It's exciting for me because it's a chance to share. I will tell you that during the past couple of years doing this training, I've been able to do this throughout our school district. We are very passionate about making sure that our employees are trained. So I have trained bus drivers, I have trained janitors, I have trained nurses, counselors, social workers, teachers, everyone. Can I say I've trained all 9,000 employees? No, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm a squeaky wheel. So we are, every year, we are having more and more people train a trainer so that we can get to those 9,000, but that's not enough. It has to be our community. And I'm so very thankful that I have the opportunity to come into the community. I will tell you, this is the first church that has said, absolutely, we want to do this. We have reached out. We, this year, very excited about, we also have she's not a new employee to Mesa, but her position is new, and her name is Michelle Grimaldi. She's our outreach person for the community so that we can start, not just with suicide, but with everything. You know, a community is just everybody. It's not just the school. It's everyone. And so the more we can reach out to that. So tonight I'm going to talk about some tough things. And please don't think that I'm making light of it, but sometimes you just have to throw some laughter in there too. This is a tough subject for everyone. And hopefully I make you think about things, and I give you some awareness and some tools to assist. If you are in a different organization, and I know through Mercy Care and through different organizations, there are trainers throughout the state. It's not just me, I'm not the only one. And so these presentations can be adapted to your organization as well. So I have, my boyfriend works for Wells Fargo. I'm like, hey, maybe want to be trained at Wells Fargo? I can come train y'all. My best friend works at Banner. Hey, it's important for Banner to know too. So just getting in the community is important. All right, so we're going to talk about suicide awareness. Should we talk about suicide? That's the first and foremost question that we want to ask. Why is this slide there? What do you think? Should we talk about suicide? Obviously you think we should because you're here, right? But there are others who don't think that. Why? Why do you think? Why would that be a question even in a person's mind? Oh, should we really talk about it? Embarrassed? Okay.
People think that if they bring up suicide, that it'll then plant the idea in their head.
Okay, that's perfect. People bring up suicide. If you don't talk about it, it doesn't happen, right? It's like a whole sex thing, right? I don't talk about it with my kids because we all do. We don't want to talk about suicide because that's going to plant that. I heard taboo over here. Huge taboo. Right? And just like what was said earlier, it doesn't happen in my family. It doesn't happen in my family. Right? That's not something we talk about because it doesn't happen in my family. There's nobody who has thoughts. We're all good. So there's lots of reasons why people say, should we even talk about it? Because if we don't talk about it, it won't happen. If we talk about it, if I'm in a position where I'm a counselor, if I talk about suicide and I talk about my own thoughts, that's really taboo, right? You're supposed to have your stuff together. So maybe there's someone in a position where it's not good for them to talk about it because it would make them look weak. Okay? So let's look at this picture. Some people say, should we talk about suicide? Others are not sure. We kind of covered that. As you all know, this is a smart group, right? I'm going to have you interact, so better be ready. All right, go ahead. Ooh, the S word, right? Love this slide. Because for some people, suicide is the S word. They don't want to talk about it. For others, it makes them think of another S word when somebody brings up suicide, right? That word, maybe. So suicide can be, and also a scary thing. Because if somebody tells me I'm having thoughts, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? I don't know. I've never been trained. I don't know what to do. But tonight, you all have in your hands resources. And that's what's going to help you. You have this little card. I put my card down here. A little blue card. Right now, I want everybody to get their phone out, and I want you to put the suicide hotline in. Everybody get your phone. Right there. It's on this blue card. If you don't have it, I should put it. But if you don't have a blue card, I'll give you the number. Suicide Prevention Lifeline. 1-800-273. Oh, I'll leave glasses. I don't have 8255. I absolutely can. It's 1-800-273-8255. What I love is and there's cards too. If you want a card, raise your hand and we'll get you a card. Because on that card, it has a text line, which I think is so super cool, right? And of course, for emergencies, 911. So more and more resources are happening. And the more we talk about it, the more we bring awareness to it, maybe that taboo will go away. And it's tough. It is absolutely tough. But you right now are walking towards breaking that. You have done an awesome thing by being here tonight. Again, it's going to keep coming up. Why do we want to talk about this as well? So obviously you all are here because you feel passionate about this and you know that there needs to be awareness. But I also hope that you can dig a little deep inside of you to say, how do I really feel about this? And this is the reason why. And I'll tell you straight my story. My story was when I first started being an educator and I heard, oh, father suicided, I thought, how selfish. How could he do that? He left his kids, he left his family. That was so selfish. Because I had no clue. I had no clue. So it took a lot for me to start to become aware. Why do I feel that way? Well, I feel that way because I'm a mama and I wouldn't want to leave my kids. But I can look at it a different way and say, I wish that he didn't feel so sad and so alone and so desperate and so heartbroken. And maybe if he would have had somebody to talk to, he could have not made that choice. So I had to change my way of thinking. And I started thinking to myself, okay, why do I think that? Think that because I'm a mom, but I also think that because I had a cousin, and well, actually, the very first time I ever went to a funeral was in high school, and one of my really good friends that I grew up with, she was a couple years older than me. She had graduated, and all of a sudden at school we heard, Kay Peterson is no longer with us. They really didn't say what happened, but of course, you know how kids are, and you know how a community, I lived in Pesci Junction, so it was a very small community, everybody knew everybody. She had suicided. Her mom had found her, she had hung herself. And she had left a note, and they had found out that she was dead. So, at my school, it was kind of like, the counselor says, okay, there's going to be a funeral, go with your parents, it'll be okay. That was it. We didn't talk about it. We didn't process it with anybody. It was just said, go with your parents, talk to your parents about it, we're good. So that was my first experience with suicide. Then a couple of years later, I'm working at Miller's Outpost. I'm dating myself. Who knows Miller's Outpost? Oh, yes. Okay, Miller's Outpost. That was a cool place to work. So anyways, I was at Miller's Outpost, and my cousin had called me and said, Tony is dead. It was in the middle of the season where the shopping, it was like Black Friday, and I didn't even recognize her voice, and I was like, who is this? What are you talking about? And she said, Missy, it's Krista. Tony's dead. And I dropped the phone, and all I remember is my assistant manager going, what's going on? You gotta do this. I said, no, I have to go home now. I drove to my uncle's house, and that Miller's Outpost was on Power, and I drove to Queen Creek. I don't know how I got there. I don't even remember any of that. I just remember pulling up, and it was a bad scene. He had done it at home on the shop. So, and my aunt and uncle had no clue. So, anyways, that was my second experience with suicide. And so, again, wondering, what is going on? You know, and not understanding the death. So, first of all, we have to understand where our thoughts and feelings come from. Why do you think that would be important? Why do we have to know about our own thoughts and feelings about suicide? Why is that important? Because we have to be ready to help somebody. And can you be ready to help somebody if you have an attitude of, that's so selfish? Why would you want to do that? If somebody came up to you and said, you know, I'm just feeling really sad and low, and you said, oh, you're good, it's all right. Right? Start singing the Sun Come Out Tomorrow. Annie, so, you know, if we put on that, oh my gosh, I don't want to ask, I don't want to tell. So we need to know where our feelings are coming from if we're going to be suicidal there. Okay. Go ahead. All right. I love this slide too. It's that big elephant in the room that we never want to talk about, right? So we said taboo. And we also maybe have this fear ourselves. Because if somebody said that to you, like, I just want to die, would you know what to do? Would you know what to say? It would be tough. And I will tell you that I don't deal with it every day as a counselor, but when you do deal with it, and all the training I've had, I have a PhD in counseling, blah, 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 goes out the window. And you're just right there in the moment. So no training you have, at least you can be aware. I'm going to give you some awareness tips, and I'm going to give you some things to think about, and we're going to give you some resources, and that's going to not going to solve everything, but it's going to. Okay? All right, go ahead. So here are some statistics, and I'm trying to think if we have these on our website. In a little bit, I'm going to show you the Basic Public Schools website, because we have some resources on there as well. But what I found interesting in this was 2018 data that we actually have from your website.
It's
Okay.
updated now.
Huh?
We have 19.
You have 19 up now?
It's based on 17, but this is probably based on 16. But yeah, it's updated.
Yeah. Yeah. So what I found interesting too is that second leading cause, 15 through 34. So those are our babies in school and out of school too. But the fifth leading cause, 45 to 54. I think sometimes, because I come from a school setting, so we always think about kids. But when I'm doing trainings, I'm talking to people and saying, this could be the teacher next door. This could be your friend at church. This could be anyone. So we don't want to limit it. We don't want to put them in a little box and say, well, they're just a kid and they're going to have those thoughts. Because, like what was said earlier, it doesn't discriminate. Those thoughts, those feelings, that overwhelming sadness, or maybe it's connected with a mental illness. A lot of times it is. And that could be, or depression. So, just putting these into focus and saying, okay, let's just make sure that we're not putting everybody in a little box, right? Okay, go ahead. So we talk about this with our school district people as well, about contagion. And again, that comes from, and we do have a fear of contagion. If one does it, then the other, and another, and another. But what the statistics show us is that it's rare, but do we need to be heightened to what's going on? Oh, absolutely we do. Absolutely. And I will tell you that in our district we have been very aware, and things have escalated a little bit last year. Unfortunately, we lost 2 students in the same area. And that was very tough, because those students, and again, talking about putting people in boxes, right? When we think of a student that might suicide, we may want to put them in a box and say, oh, they're this type of kid. They wear these type of clothes. They act this way. But that's not the case. And these two situations, these two young ladies were very much not under the radar. I mean, they were under the radar big time. They were in activities, they were involved, they were doing things. And so we have to be careful about that too. We have to have that heightened awareness, and we have to make sure that we know that suicide does not discriminate. It will take whoever it can. So we need to be aware of age, right? Anything. It does not. Okay. It does not discriminate. Thank you very much. Thank my work. Okay. So we want to talk just a little bit about this blurry picture, because who does suicide affect? Well, I'll tell you what. Do you think it's only the family? Do you think it's just friends and family about the student? It's communities, guys. It's communities. I will tell you my own. When my cousin, that happened to my cousin, it was Queen Creek, and it was many years ago. So, and the one Catholic church that Queen Creek has was in a big building. It couldn't hold everybody. They might as well have had it at the school, but heaven forbid they don't do that. But anyways, it was, it blew your mind how many people were there. So it rocks communities. And so we have to be mindful of that. We have to say, again, not in our family that doesn't happen. Because it doesn't just affect your family. It affects everyone in a bigger picture. And so the more that we become suicide aware, the bigger that picture can become. And we as a community have to support that. And there's no blaming or pointing fingers, right? There's no, well, the parents could have done this or the school should have done this. No, we have to look at it as a community effort. And we have to be aware. Okay. So again, with that, should I tell about suicide? Should I ask about suicide? That asking's tough. Because somewhere in the back of our mind, sometimes we can have those little thoughts of, if I ask, then I'm going to put that thought in my mind. Or if I ask, what am I going to get? And how am I going to be able to handle that? What if they say yes? What do I do? Right? What are some other thoughts? Does anybody have any other thoughts about that? About asking? Why would that be a scary thing?
It might be a scary thing because I'm going to ask them about if they're going to do it.
So he said that, what if you ask and then that just pushes them to just do it quicker? Is that what you're doing? Okay. All right, yes ma'am. Okay, so what if they're not thinking about it and you ask, you think it would maybe put it in their mind? Okay. And we talked about that, right? So, I will tell you this. Let me just bust that myth up, okay? Because I'm going to tell you that if someone is thinking of suicide, they've been thinking about it for a long time. Rarely, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen because it does, but rarely, it will be an on-the-fly decision, bam, it's done. Typically, there will be signs, and typically, they've been thinking about it for a while, and they struggle with it, and go back and forth. So, we're going to talk about that in just 1 second. Okay, so we're going to explore the talk of suicide, a suicide talk. We're going to break down talk. So, I need to tell. We're looking at it through the eyes of the person at risk. They want to tell somebody. Why do you think that is? Why would they want to tell? Because it's taboo, right? You tell, people are going to think bad of you. Well, why do you think they need to tell? A cry for help. Absolutely. Because do you think they really want to die? Probably not. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely, that's perfect. She said, they might not just say it outright, like I want to die, but they'll have other actions that correlate with that: drugs, alcohol, risky behaviors. So I need to tell somebody openly about my thoughts of suicide. Now, remember, in the back of your mind, you're saying to yourself, where am I with this? Like, am I okay? Am I going to be able to listen to somebody? Am I prepared to do this? Okay, go ahead. I would like to tell several people. Why would that be? Why would they want to tell several people? Yes? Okay? Because maybe that first person will be scared. And they'll say they want to know, but they really don't want to know. So if they're not going to stop me, then maybe somebody else will. Yes? They want to feel valued. Exactly. More than one person cares about me. Awesome. Yes?
I was thinking, what if for some reason, one of the support systems is taken out of the picture? So, for example,
So more of a support system. If one person's gone, then the other. You guys can chime in anytime if I forget something or you think something needs to be said, say, okay, I'm good with that. All right, go ahead. Okay, I'm aware that I may be cautious in saying it openly as I want to. Okay? Again, it's that, who am I saying it to? And what kind of reaction? Now, I don't know about you, but I can never play poker because this face says it says lots of stuff. Sometimes it says stuff I don't want it to say, right? You know, when people come, they're like, oh, do you like my shoes? Uh-huh, those are so cute. Wow, where did we get those? They're nice. Right? And I just can't. So, you know, and you have to know your limits and your boundaries. And again, I've processed a lot of things. And so I know that I can look at somebody and I can say, okay, tell me your thoughts. What's going on? With sincerity. And it's hard because I don't know how many of you are parents in here, but you want to give them mama advice, right? I'm great at that mama advice. It's like, oh, honey, you don't want to do that. You want to do this. It's much better. And oh, I've experienced that. You don't want to do that. So we have to be careful about that advice giving. We have to be careful. We have to be in touch again with what we're feeling, what we're thinking about suicide, because they're going to be cautious. They're going to see. They might test you. They might say, yeah, so-and-so, you know, they don't want to be around anymore, and see your reaction. So they're going to test. Okay, go ahead. There you go, I got to jump ahead, right? Watching and waiting for your reactions. And again, it is a scary thing. I'm a trained counselor. And when that happens, that's a little scary. Takes you back. Because I have many hats. I'm not just a counselor, I'm a mama. And for me to think that I could lose one of my kids, oh. So it's scary. But they're going to be watching for your reactions. Okay? All right, so the A stands for I need someone to ask. This is a hard one. Because, you can go ahead and tell them because I'll try. I'm trying to keep my stuff to a minimum because I can get off task. But this is tough because you want to make sure that, like you said, you don't want to just ask off the cuff. And my partner in crime, who usually does a lot of training, so he's not with Basic Public Schools, but he's with Welcome Tower. He's an awesome guy, and he had a situation. He tells the story about how he had just had the Living Works training. He had done there's a week-long training you go to, you get fired up, and like, okay, I'm suicide aware. And he said he had his little Superman cape on, and he was all over it, right? He is a coach, and so his daughter plays softball. He saw this girl. She was sitting in front of a library. She looked sad and upset. She was looking at her phone and looking away, and she was just really upset. So he walked up there to her. He's like, hey, how are you doing tonight? She's like, I'm horrible. Are you thinking of suicide? She's like, what the? She started cussing at him. And he was like, okay, wait a minute. What? And she goes, my phone died, my mom can come get me. He was like, okay, I'm really sorry. I should have had a little more, built a little more rapport with you, but I really am, I really care about your life and blah, blah, blah. He gave her some hot Cheetos and she was all good. It was good. So, hot Cheetos will cure things, I'm just saying. But it was a win-win. Yeah, she said some cuss words and was mad at him for a minute, but the hot Cheetos cured it and it was okay. And there was no harm in asking that. So he was better safe than sorry. Now, when we do these trainings, people just get so uptight, especially at schools, because, it's the whole, if I ask this question, a parent's going to get mad at me because some parents don't want us to talk about this with kids. But I think you need to see and build that rapport with those who you think may be at risk and see their invitations. And what I mean by an invitation is, they're gonna, like you said, young lady, they're gonna give you some invitations. They might not have ever wanted to drink, and all of a sudden they're partying. Or opposite, right? They're sad. They're that kid that always has their hair in front of their eyes and really quiet, and they come to school and they're like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? And you're like, wow, like that's so great, you're in a good mood. But why are they in a good mood? Maybe because they made the decision to suicide. I don't know. So you have to weigh things out. You have to ask the question, but you have to see those invitations. So it's all a balancing act. Go ahead, I think there's something. And you need to ask directly, clearly, and as soon as you can. So when you hear those invitations of, I'm just tired. I just don't even want to wake up. I'm just tired. Well, what are you tired about? What's going on, right? Asking those questions and probing, and then when you feel like you have enough information, because they may say, well, I didn't get any sleep because I'm on the softball team and I did this and I did that, and so that's something different, right? But if they're saying to you, I just can't get up in the morning. I don't have a reason to get up. I don't want to get up. I hate school. I hate my life. That's really not working. When you hear those type of things, then you can ask the question directly. Now, if you ask somebody, are you going to hurt yourself? Do you think that's the same thing as do you want to die? No. You got it right here. No, it's not. Right? Because if I've decided I'm going to suicide, I'm not hurting myself. It's all good. Right? I got a plan, and I'm doing it, and I'm not going to be hurt anymore. Actually, it's the opposite, right? So you want to make sure you ask directly. Now, when we've done these trainings, again, it's your audience. You need to know who you're speaking to, right? Because we've had some miscommunication where people thought, sorry, I have allergies in my eye keeps watering. People keep thinking, okay, well, you want me to walk around the hallways and ask a kindergartner if they want to commit suicide or they want to die? No, didn't say that, right? You want to make sure that you talk to the person at their level, one, that they can understand what the word means, because some might not. But you're getting those invitations and you're asking directly. And it's a scary thing. That question is super scary. Not only for them, but for you. Okay? Go ahead. Right now, it is exactly what I want you to do. Okay? Because I think that there's a lot of relief in just being able to say, I said it. Yes, I want to die. I've had thoughts. And I said it. And you don't have to be the one that saves them. You don't have to be the cure. You are going to keep them safe for now. You have that number. You're going to call that line and help them if you need to. So you don't have to cure them. You don't have to, because you're not going to, right? You're keeping them safe now. We're going to go on to that in just a minute. Okay, listening. I hope you're a good listener. Because some of us, remember, we get that mama talk or that parent talk, that parent ease, right? Oh, it's okay. You're going to be good. Tomorrow's a new day. Right? So we have to be careful about that advice giving. And being a good listener means, because you got 2 ears to listen with and 1 mouth to talk with, right? I think that was it. 2, 1. Right? So you need to use both of your ears to make sure you're listening to everything that's being said to you. And helping them process, because I need to clear my thoughts by talking about them. And like I said, I know it's a scary thing and you want to freak out, but I think it's okay to be honest with somebody when they say that to you. If you can ask the question directly, do you want to die? Are you thinking of killing yourself? Uncomfortable to say, right? but it needs to be said. You need to ask the question directly if you're giving those invitations. And then you need to be a good listener. Because a lot of times they just need to process. And again, you don't have to come up with a cure. You don't have, your words are not going to be some magic wand, because trust me, if I had the magic wand, I would share it with all of you. Okay? But there's not. You just need to be there to listen and get them and keep them safe for now. And that's what the K stands for. Go ahead. Keeping them safe for now. And that's another key piece. You can hit it so that it won't come up. That's another key piece, because many people who have this training think, well, I'm going to go do this training and then I'm going to be, you're going to put your cape on, you're going to fly around, or you're going to help everybody. And that's not realistic for you either. Okay? So, keeping them safe from now is what you need to do. And how do you do that? You call others to help. You get them professional help. If they're in danger, if you know they have means, what does that mean? Does anybody know what that means? If they have a way to do it, they have what they need. So they may say, you may ask, so how are you planning on doing this? I have pills in my cabinet. If I take about 10 or 12 of those, I should do it. Okay? So if you know they have needs, if somebody said, well, I'm going to shoot myself, but I really don't have a gun, and I don't, but I could get one maybe. I don't know if I go buy one or something. That's a little bit different. Does that mean you don't take it seriously? Absolutely not. You still keep them safe for now, because they're still having those thoughts. All right? So remember that the person at risk needs to tell somebody. They need to be able to tell somebody of their thoughts of suicide. And can you be that person? Just ask yourself. Okay? I need someone to ask me about my thoughts. Are you going to be able to ask a direct question? Just something to think about. Okay? I need someone to listen to my thoughts and feelings. And are you going to be okay with that? Can you do that? Are you going to be that advice giver? Are you going to solve all their problems? Or are you going to be able to listen to what they have to say, help them process it a little bit, and then keep them safe? Okay, I'll go through this whole thing and then I'll do questions. So does somebody want to help me? I feel like, and I'm going to date myself again because I feel like Oprah, like, okay, what do you think? What do you think? So, okay, I need to tell someone about my thoughts of suicide. Can you read that?
I need to tell someone.
I am alert to your needing to tell me. Okay, somebody else want to help me out? Go ahead. And somebody asked the question? You read, can you see? No? Are we scared?
I need someone to ask me about my thoughts of suicide.
I am willing and able to ask you directly. Thank you. Ooh, you have a teacher voice too. Yeah? That's a mama voice too, like, get your, yeah, that's a mama voice. Okay? Somebody else want to read the next one? Ooh, this is like school. Nobody wants to participate. It's down. Oh, yeah, wait.
I need someone to listen to my thoughts and feelings about suicide.
I am willing and able to listen to your thoughts and feelings of suicide. Last one. I am willing and able to help you safe. I always throw in there for now. Because remember, it's not going to be the cure-all. We just want to get them safe for now because we're not professionals. We're going to do that warm handoff if we can to make sure that they get to the right place. Because you don't want to just say, oh, I know you're having thoughts. It'll be okay. Here, call this number. No, right? You're going to say, hey, thank you for sharing. Should I call this number? Do you want to call? I'll be right here with you. What do you need from me? How can I help you? Okay? All right, go ahead. So Living Works, like I said, has these communities of suicide awareness. So you have the person at risk, a person who's thinking of suicide, and then you have this small training, which is suicide talk. Then you have safe talk. Safe talk is a more in-depth. We go into practicing. It goes around that talk premise, but you actually get to listen, you get to practice, you get to ask directly, and that's a 3-hour training. I would love to do with any community, we'd love to do it. And then assist is a 2-day training, and it's pretty intense. It took us a week to train to do that 2-day training, and it is very, very intense, but it is very good. And I'm proud to say that Mesa Public Schools has put out the 2-day assist training to mostly counselors and social workers and nurses, principals, and those are they're called care teams, and those are our people who are our frontliners. And so we have, and we're working on, again, training all of those people in assist. But all this training is available to you too. We would love community members, I'm sure, to come and take our trainings as well. We just need to find a forum to advertise it in. Okay, go ahead. And I'm sure we'll think of that. So, on our website, our resources are very just a little bit. But we're working on that. We're working to change that. But if you go to our website and you search in our little search bar and you put suicide awareness, our resources will pop up for you as well. Okay? So we have suicide prevention, and we have different resources for you, for your students, for anybody to utilize. So whenever you can, I just suggest you can go on there and get additional resources. So again, we're looking at this picture of the fuzziness and how suicide affects all of us in some way, shape, or form. I bet you if I did a show of hands, which I will not, has suicide affected you sometime in your life? And I'm sure all of you could raise your hand. So, again, it's just us as a community becoming more and more suicide aware and in a community of helpers to help those who are having this. So I would like to open up questions. I may not have all the answers, but I will surely try. And if you want to talk to me personally and privately, I can wait as well. And you have another person. So any questions? Comments? Thoughts? Thank you for participating. Thank you for being here. What a great group. Yes?
Yeah, I got a friend, and he's like long distance. I don't even remember quite where he lives. So it feels like so anxious because I don't really.
Uh-huh.
How can I guess.
That's okay. So what you brought up was a good point. So what happens, it was on the phone. If you're talking to somebody and they're in a different state, how are you going to help them? Well, that's a really good question. Hopefully, you can get a hold of somebody who's closer to them. The hotlines are nationwide hotlines. So you want to make sure to get them in touch with, it's hard because you usually just have one phone, right? Does anybody have a house phone anymore? I got rid of my house phone. Did you? Good for you. That CenturyLink, they could have my phone. Well, we won't talk about CenturyLink. But anyways, so it is difficult because if you don't have 2 lines to get a hold of somebody, but that's a difficult question, thank you. But I would say making sure to get them in touch, and if they're getting mental health services, just encourage them to utilize their mental health and try to get a hold of somebody close to them that can get to them. Okay. Good question. Other questions? Not hard ones? Something really good? I know what I'm talking about? Anybody else? Yes. And that's a really good question. So what about the ones who don't give you any ideas or don't give you any signs? Again, I think those are few and far between, because I think if we really know that person and we really look at different things, you know, it's so sad to sit there, like I did this with my cousin, and I thought to myself, if I could have just been there, if I'd have just called in more, if I would have just, you know, I mean, high school's hard, and he, you know, there was a lot of circumstances. He had epilepsy, he was adopted, he broke up with his girlfriend, and he had medication, and he was drinking. So all of those things, you know, you could have, like a woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I think just building relationships and encouraging and getting to know relationships, and I know this is hard. As a parent, I still worry about it. My kids are 23 and 22, and I still worry about it. Because my son he internalizes everything. And I know when I can talk to him and when I can't, and so I just try to make sure I build that relationship as open to me, and I have to do it on his terms, because I'm a counselor, you know, like I'm ready, I got my little pad, I'm like, okay, tell me, what you got? Like, I got this. He's not that type of kid. And I know with him, his deal is, I'll say, hey son, you want to just go get something to eat? You want to go get some dinner? Yeah. And I have to wait, and I have to wait, and we're sitting there, and we're sitting there. But then eventually stuff starts to pour out. And that's how I get, because I build that relationship, and I know that about him. And I can't just come at him and say, what's going on? I know you look sad. Well, I don't want to talk to you about that. So I have to be careful, right? So it's building that rapport in those relationships with people, not just with your son or your daughter, but with your coworkers, with your neighbors, with your friends, with your family, to build that rapport and that relationship so you can see when things are off. Yes, ma'am. And that happens. And that happens. But sometimes you have to just be patient, because they're testing you, right? Because if you're just going to walk away after the first time of asking me, then I know you're not sincere. You don't care. Like, you're scared about it as much as I am. So sometimes it's that longevity. I can tell you as a counselor, sometimes I sit in my office with students and you're like, okay. And you just wait, and finally some stuff starts to pour out. And you go on around that way. Like, a lot of times I'll just talk to students about different things, like, oh, because I'm a shoe person, so I would say, oh, look at your shoes, like, where did you get those, blah, blah. And then that starts talking, or do you have siblings, or what's your family like, or, you know, whatever. So sometimes you have to talk about different things in order to get to. Okay, what else? Like I said, I wish I had the magic wand, but I don't. Just some ideas and thoughts.
How young is too young? How old is too old?
Okay, so how young is too young and how old is too old? I don't think it discriminates. And again, with the younger piece of it, maybe you can help me with a statistic back there. Yes.
20% of people under the age of 18 will experience depression.
Did you hear that? I'm sorry, I'm not very fast. They just have an operation on my feet. So. Okay, go ahead.
So 20% of people under the age of 18 will experience depression. So that's 1 in 5. And when we talk about depression, it's diagnosable depression, not just feeling sad, but an actual diagnosis level.
And that can lead, right? That's a low doorway. I'll tell you this, and we talk to our counselors all the time about age appropriateness, because we had some people we were training and they were very hesitant. You know, I'm not going to talk to a third grader about that. And I have kids, and I haven't even talked to my kids about it. And I'm thinking, whew. Now, do you think that kids can get on the internet and look at anything up they want? Yes. And if they're curious, they're going to look it up. Wouldn't you much rather have that conversation and be able to direct it than have somebody on the internet post something and have them believe that? I'm just saying. So Do I think you should just bring it up out of the blue? No. But I think you should have a conversation at the level that the student is at. I will tell you that our counselor, going back to what I said first, that our counselor had said they had spoken with a kindergartner who had a plan. It was going to be the kitchen knife, the big knife in the kitchen. A kindergartner. So it doesn't discriminate. And to me, as far as the elderly go, I mean, my parents are only in their 70s, so to me that's young. But I see changes, and that's got to be hard. When, you know, my mom says, oh, I used to get out there and do all this, and I just can't do it anymore. I can only do half of what I used to do. And I say, you know what? But you can do half. You can walk, you can talk, and, you know, we're just excited about that. I mean, and it celebrate the little things, right? So there's not an age discrimination when it comes to this, and especially when it comes to depression and things that lead to it. Okay? Other questions, comments? Yes, good. Okay. Well, thank you so much for participating. I know this is a tough subject. If you have any concerns or questions that you want to talk about away from everybody else, I will certainly stay around, and I would love to speak with you. So thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for sharing and for being here at a time when many, many people have been affected in some way, shape, or form. I'm one of the pastors here. My name is David. Another David. I call myself chaplain. I'm one of the chaplains also. I'm one of the chaplains over at Bennett David. And so we just thank Melissa. And we'd like also our resource people to come forward. Please, come up, come up. We want to know the names of your organizations and recognize you. Please come over, please. Thank you, thank you. And as they're coming forward, Connect Church is also in the process of developing a care support group. So think about that, pray about that, because this is something we'd like to do. Could you introduce yourself?
Sure, my name is Kyle Morris, and I am with Mercy Care. We're a managed care organization for Medicaid and Medicare, and so we provide behavioral health services to children and adults. I work on the Children's System of Care team. I'm the transition agent manager, so I work with the 16 to 24-year-olds, and so we provide support to our providers in the community for children and adults who are struggling with any mental illness, anything like that. So if you need any resources around that, we also have our crisis line as well. That's available 24/7, and it's free to anybody. You don't have to be a Mercy Care member or under an access plan. You can call at any time. And so I have that resource in the back. Any other community resources, I would be glad to answer any questions that you have afterwards.
Hey everyone, I'm Maddie Rose and I work with Not My Kid. We believe in prevention through education and power of positive choices. So we go into schools for one and teach them about substance use, depression, bullying, body image, and unhealthy relationships. And the important thing about teaching on all topics is because lots of times more than one happens at a time. For example, I am a recovering drug addict. I also have bipolar disorder. So those are two things that like hand in hand. So we have life skills programs as well, where we go into schools and we kind of teach them how to be an adult and other things like that. So if you guys want any information, we do pre-intervention for people who have already started using drugs. Go ahead and come to the back. I also have pamphlets about signs of depression and signs of drug use. So thank you so much.
So my name is Corey Phillinger. I am the area director for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So we actually don't provide direct service, but we really focus on education within the community. So I have several different education programs that we go out and do. There's another one that's one of my favorites that we do is called Talk Saves Lives. It's an hour-long presentation. It kind of dives into some of the more specific things. I would say it's maybe some of the next levels of this presentation that you see tonight. It goes into more specifics on kind of the statistics, different research. It's all kinds of different kind of warning signs and risk factors, as well as a little bit more detail on how to ask somebody that question and what to do with next steps. So that's about an hour-long presentation. It's something that we do for free in the community all the time. It's great as a lunch and learn. I've done it at churches, all kinds of different things. So that's just something that you would request. We also have a school presentation called More Than Sad. It can be done for teachers, it can be done for parents, and then we also have a version for students that more addresses their question. One of the things, so our organization is very heavily based on research and statistics, and one of the things we know, especially about suicide, is that the large majority of people that die by suicide have a mental condition at the time of their death, whether it has been diagnosed, and sometimes it hasn't been diagnosed. So we really believe in kind of erasing that stigma around suicide, but also mental health. So I think that's something that can really help, is that we're having these conversations and really having these conversations about kind of addressing your own mental health and treating your mental health is just as important as your physical health. We also do advocacy, so we have an advocacy in Arizona that this spring. We don't have a date set for that. We have to wait for the state capitol to set a date for us. And then another program that we have that is really amazing, that we're really lucky to be able to offer here in Arizona. And we just launched it this past October, and I've talked to a couple of you about it already. It's called Healing Conversations. So Healing Conversations is for survivors of suicide loss, and I'm sure that there are at least a few of you in this audience that are survivors of suicide loss. So this is a great program that we have. We have a trained group of loss survivors, so individuals that have lost somebody close to them. They're at least 2 years out from their loss. And so we have kind of a form on our website where people can request what we call a visit. And a visit can be either in person, it can be via Skype, it can be however you're most comfortable in communicating. And so we pair, when people request a visit, we pair them with somebody who has had a similar loss. And we have a pretty substantial group of volunteers, so we're usually able to pair people with similar losses. And they meet one time, so it's to meet and talk and listen to your story. A lot of times when people have lost someone, they feel like they're the only one. So listen to your story, and then also provide resources. So it's just as important if you've lost someone to make sure you're taking care of your own mental health. And they have a whole kind of toolkit of resources, anything from book lists to just kind of reading materials that we have back there to support groups that are in the area. They're able to give. So I actually have a whole bunch of little cards on my table back there if that's something you're interested in. We have a whole wonderful group of volunteers that are tremendous, and we would love to help.
Thank you so much to our resource people. And before we end, I just want to let you know that we're here to help, to direct you in whatever way that we can. Please exchange numbers, names, go back to the tables out there and see what's there for you. And you may not even be that close to this subject, but you may know of someone that you might be able to help. And I don't want to forget to tell you that these little purple cards here, please fill them out as best as you can. Give them to the ushers before you leave the building. Okay? Give them to the ushers. And we'll try to be in touch with you. Please, let's all stand. Thank you for coming. I appreciate your time. And we want to let you know that we want to be there for you in any way, shape, or form as we can. Let's have a quick word of prayer. Lord, we thank you that even in the midst of this very difficult subject, we know that your Spirit is going to be with us and walk us through this. Thank you for the resources. Thank you for the presentation. Thank you just for the folks that have showed up this evening. And we pray, Lord, that you will just guide and direct us to support each other and help others who may be hurting in some ways that we're not even aware. We pray this in your name. Amen.